All right, everybody, can you believe it? We are wrapping up day one of the Fundraising AI Summit. Say hello in the chat. I would love to hear one thing that you have learned today. What has stuck out to you? Share that in the chat. You can also share where you're joining from and welcome, but I would really love to hear if you learned or heard something today that you are going to remember into the coming days. And don't log off just yet. We have Erik here from Avid, who's going to lead us through a final session before the closing keynote on the impact stage, moving up the grid, how nonprofits can unlock greater efficiency and better results. And first, I think we're going to watch a little video about Avid.
Everything's about to change. Everything's about to change. Everything's about to change.
All right, I hope everyone loved jamming out to that music as much as I did. But a little bit more about Avid. It is not just another fundraising tool. With Avid, fundraisers can launch campaigns in minutes, not weeks, surface their highest impact donor opportunities, automate multi-channel outreach, and track performance in real time and adjust on the fly. Avid is built by fundraisers, and it replaces the sort of duct tape tools and disconnected workflows with a system designed for speed, clarity, and real results. So I'm bringing Erik onto the stage to lead our next session. If you know Erik, you know he has just as much energy as the music in that video. He has over 2 decades of professional fundraising experience, having successfully conducted more than 5,000 face-to-face donor solicitations. So he's the real deal. He's done it. Raising millions for various nonprofit organizations across sectors, including healthcare, education, human services, athletics, and youth-based initiatives. In his role at Avid, Erik spearheads revenue generation strategies, focusing on expanding the company's market presence and enhancing client engagement. So I'm really excited to invite Erik up onto the stage, and we'll turn it over to you. Please share your questions, your comments, your feedback from Erik throughout.
Hey everybody! I mean, you guys all saw me in the backstage dancing to the music. Who else was dancing to the music in that great intro music song for all things? Everything's about to change. If you know anything about us at Avid, what we actually do is we actually have a Spotify account, so you can actually pull that link up and be able to pull it and get that opportunity to actually listen to the music. And we got the good vibes in the back to round out the end of the day. Thank you for being with me and us and Fundraising AI. I'm Erik Tomalis. I am a recovering fundraiser, and thank you for giving up your day to be able to spend to learn about how we can bring AI into your organization. I'm going to take it to a next step, and I'm actually going to talk about how we can actually implement it and move it up the grid to be able to go from there. So Avid itself is a brand new software solution. We are not just a software, we're not just AI, we're not just tech, we're actually the first fundraising operating system. What it's great about it is we have the opportunity to actually use AI-powered tools that we connect all of our systems all into one spot. We get to see what we're going to be able to focus our attention on, where we're going, but also we get to run the plays to be able to do what you do at your nonprofit to grow generosity. As you know, as you heard, I'm Erik Tomalis. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I am an advocate for our space. I want to be able to help us grow generosity. I'm on the road a lot randomly. I'm in my own home office right now. Yes, I do have a pop-up in my office. That's just how I roll, and super excited to be here with you guys. But really, I mean, today's like getting to the end. I'm right before our keynote. How are you guys feeling about AI, right? Like, what do we think what's happening out there in our space, right? Like, are you use the comments here. I'm reading the chat. Are you scared about what's going on in AI and how it's actually leaning into our nonprofits? Are you excited about it? And if you, obviously, I think you might be here to do a little one of the two, or are you apathetic, right? Like, where do you fall in line when it comes to AI in our nonprofit space right now? And I want to see like a couple of the different comments in there because it'll kind of drive the conversation of where we're going to where we are. But again, the challenge, what I'm seeing out there is a lot of our fundraisers have this AI paralysis. And really, we're stuck in that indecision about how to even move forward. There's way too many tools to choose from. There's big knowledge gaps to even understand what tools are actually helpful, let alone the additional work to strategy, process, execution, data security, on and on and on, right? But at the end of the day, what I actually saw this in a PDF from the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and it comes from the McKinsey report, is 65% of companies, for-profit companies, are actually using generative AI. So we as a nonprofit sector need to step up, right? We're always falling behind the for-profit space. And this kept on going further and further. It's like respondents are equally likely to say their organization fall. And this is too much words, right? There's just too much on here to be able to like navigate it. But really, what if you just take a screenshot of it and upload it to your generative AI and say, hey, can you explain this in English, please, for me? What does this mean? Right? And so it'll come out and actually answer. And the chart means 50% of companies are actually using AI to review the content before publishing it. Scary, right? Like this is scary. That's happening in our space right now. And what I'm also seeing from our quick observations is all of these large companies are following more AI adoption best practices, right? Many of these companies are expressing difficulty in hiring AI related roles or skill sets, right? Few years ago, they were telling college students to start becoming data engineers and everything else. And that's what's hurting our skill set, as well as most companies are expected to reskill our staff over the next 3 years. And finally, our companies are changing our headcount due to AI adoption. These are things that are happening in this big space that we're surrounded, and we need to be ready for it. But on the other side is, straight from the Chronicle, when we started asking directly to nonprofits, 46% of nonprofits are active users of AI technology in our own operations. And what's even better, says 77% are expected to be active users of AI in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm asking why only 77%? If you're here, let's lean in. Let's have this opportunity. Let's be able to get in there. But the challenge is, why is it so hard for nonprofits to get started, right? And if you go a step backwards, I'm a big fan of G2. G2 is one of the greater platforms out there. It's like a Yelp for technology. And you go in here and you say, all right, I want to look up, what AI tools are available. I'm going to click on artificial intelligence. I'm going to click over, focus on generative AI. But then there's even more subcategories underneath generative AI. And I want to go right to this generative AI infrastructure software. There are 10,000 tools for AI out there in our space. It is so much overwhelming to see what's happening, right? And there's 110 just for generative AI and infrastructure. And all this stuff is crazy, right? You're getting overwhelmed. I quit. I'm done. Too much overload. Or at the end of the day, I'm overwhelmed. There's over too many nonprofits. There's too many AI tools. I'm being asked to just visit with my donors and ask for support and raise money for our programs. It's overwhelming, right? And really what I'm here to do is pull it back a couple steps and just say, hey, what are the types of AI that I should consider at my nonprofit? How are we able to go to that next step? and real out there. And so you've been in a lot of sessions today. And one of the things I wanted to point out is really there's really 4 types of AI. And I want to do a little history lesson on all things. We've got machine learning, which is, looking for patterns to create segments. We've got large language models. You'll see it LLMs, or they're really being built specifically for text generation. We've got these AI agents that are really, this new wave of AI, and where we can do things on our behalf, like AI, agentic AI is what it's leading into. And of course, we've got very scary robots, right? Like we've got Skynet, that thing's going to come. I'm very polite with my chat GPT, always say please and thank you to her. And we'd be able to have this conversation. But really what I only want to focus my attention on in the first 2, right? I want to talk more about machine learning and large language models. And let's leave the agents and the robots for a future conversation. But machine learning, really, I want to bring it back to here. I love that, Audrey. Be very polite to these machines. Really, machine learning has been here for a while. It's using computers to identify our patterns, relationships, rules, provided from data to perform tasks in classification, prediction, optimization. And what does that sound like, right? Like segmentation, projections, personalization. And in our space in the nonprofit, we've been doing this since the 60s, right? Like it's RFM, recency, frequency, monetary. We started in the direct mail world. It was published in a strategic database marketing. We're focusing on segmentation with RFM on transactions. And really, it was used for for-profit companies for credit cards, but we've actually brought it into what we do in our space. In the 80s and 90s, a lot of the larger nonprofits, the enterprise, like the Red Cross, the Habitats, the Greenpeaces, they actually started leaning into RFM. But the challenge with segmentation was manual. And it was like one point for us to be able to focus our attention on. And really, the primary utilization was just direct mail, right? There was no digital, there was no email, there was no texting, and there was none of that. It was just all mail and less on the face-to-face. 2000s, we actually saw RFM actually leaning into the CRM technology tools that are out there. And now it became that default prioritization methodology. And really, there's about 10% improvement in result, but really, it took a lot of challenges to be able to grow the general organizations for profit. So the advanced implementations use regression models, and on top of that, RFM for the larger organizations. And really, it kept on going, right? We're seeing now in the 2010s, predictive modeling became more prevalent. We're now using third-party tools like wealth and consumer behavior and co-ops. There's a lot of variables, and it's RFM really is being able to produce all of these individual segments, and for likelihood for giving and upgrading and lapsing our donors. And really now into 2020s, all the software companies are now incorporating modeling at some level. And they're using hundreds of different factors for prediction. And models are being constantly updated as the data comes in. And really, like one of the things I'm going fast because I have 62 slides, but one of the things I like to do when I present to nonprofits is provide opportunities for technology and best practice and things that we can actually take. And one of the tools I like using and recommending is our technology to consider is Fundraise Up. They have these smart donation gift arrays, card abandonment. There's an AI fraud prevention. Really, there's a whole lot of things there that can be able to help your organization grow using this machine learning on the back end. We're going to talk about modeling and predictive predictions, the opportunity there to now look at donor-based models like, Wyland or Donor Bureau. There's a whole host of data providers out there that can be able to incorporate the behavior into specific models as you are growing generosity in your nonprofits. And really, the next iteration where we're going, which is really interesting, going from machine learning to large language models, is, I went through each one of those decades, is really, you can see this from the 60s to 2017, that's this progression that we went from here. And really, it started back with the neural networks and statistical language models. It focused from the 60s to 2017 on word sequences rather than the broader understanding of everything that we're doing. But from 2017 today, actually GPT kicked off with the introduction of the transfer architecture. If you talk to Nathan, you hear Nathan speak about ChatGPT. I think he has it tattooed on his arm of November of 2022 is when or 2020 is when the GPT-3 model was created, and it actually launched everything that we can do. And so now AI has the ability to create text and images and videos, and even pass some of the Turing tests, and really doing a lot of interesting things to be able to grow. And really, the challenge there is, where are they getting their data? Everywhere. Websites, books, academic papers, libraries, all of this content, they're continuing to be able to pull it. And that's what's beautiful about it, and also scary about it, is this open source data sets that are able to come into the organization. But there's a definite problem with these LLMs from fundraising, right? You've all these different tools and they're all out there, is really large language models don't know us. They don't know what is actually effective, right? And so that's the thing that we need to be vigilant on and focused on, because at the end of the day, you think about how we operate, right? Like how we put out a newsletter. We want to put a newsletter is like one of the most common emails. Everyone does it. It's beautiful. We got, image, we got a whole bunch of taglines, we got a bunch of CTAs in here. But really, it's the challenges with our open AI and all these different data sources. They don't understand our donors, how we fundraise, how we get through the clutter and all the alt-put ways. And so I pulling this from Next After. Next After does some really great studies and experiments and all the things. And you see on the left side of your screen a highly designed newsletter from, I forget which organization, Back to the Bible. You see it has great text, good image. You got a story, got a video here. You have a plain text version on the other side. You got the video on the bottom. It's really, really small print, but there's one link in there to be able to click where you wanted to be able to have that CTA. And what they found here is actually the plain text version had increase in clicks. That's the beautiful thing about fundraisers, right? Is being able to see the opportunity out there. On the other side, think through this. We got Family Life, another ministry, and we have a smaller image up top. We got a donate button. It's big subject, image up top for our logo or Family Life, and a bunch of content. And then we have just another plain text version, actually with the drawn out link. It has the actual URL in there. We saw a 272% increase in donations just through the plain text. And what I'm trying to get to reiterate is that LLMs are only as effective as what they've been trained on. And so we need to start thinking this through to be able to go through. It's like, what matters to us? And so a lot of the large language models that what can they actually do? And so we actually have an opportunity to be able to use them to, let's summarize donor reports. Let's have them help write fundraising copy. Let's get them to help scale that personalization and be able to maybe become the fundraiser. I mean, that's a future casting thing, but like this is the opportunity to be able to get in there. And so one of the other really cool technologies that I really like to have you guys consider is Zapier. I come from another CRM platform, which I think is one of the most modern CRMs out there. But the reality is everything needs to connect directly to your home base. And Zapier does a great opportunity to be able to connect all your technologies to be able to make sure you have one succinct automation. And really, here's a great example. Think through if someone makes a $500 gift through your donation page, whatever it might be. Now you can connect it to a profile in your CRM. Have it wealth screen on donor search or whatever wealth platform that you're using. Have it do a LinkedIn search to identify that person's profile, and then create a ChatGPT summary all right in one spot with this Zapier connection, and then have that donor profile sent to your major gift officer. Wouldn't that expedite so much work that we're doing on a regular basis? Like this is work. This would take me hours to be able to do, because I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to go down this rabbit hole and see other people. Or just go and lean in on ChatGPT or any other generative AI platform that you prefer. I recommend buying the version. Spend the $20 monthly fee just to be able to get that opportunity, because you can create your own custom GPT to actually reduce the edits. Make your own donor persona inside there, provide the past examples, identify brand guidelines, pull all this data together all in one spot. And really, I have to share, like really lean into Avid. You saw the video, you saw what we have the ability to do. And the opportunity there to consider is this opportunity to look at campaigns, create larger campaigns based on your strategic area of need, Focus on the personalization. This system can actually create emails, ads targeted directly to your segments of your donors, and actually deploy content and data to allow you to actually focus on the things that you do on a regular basis. But so I really want to continue down this path of these AI solutions that are out there for free. And like I mentioned, right, what being able to use ChatGPT, they have a free version. I recommend using the paid version, but you can do the basics with the regular ChatGPT. And what I meant about this is going in and actually have it be the copy for who you are, right? Like, Riley. Riley's a friend of mine. She was at Next After for the longest time. But many people didn't realize that she had to learn how to write in someone else's voice. And so when she wrote those newsletters, she wrote it in someone else's voice on behalf of that person. And she learned, she was his own ChatGPT. But about a month later, after more and more feedback, she had to be able to communicate all of that. So I want you to go into your generative AI tool and write out a prompt template of like, hi, I want you to provide a brand voice that you can remember for future tests. Let's call it blank organization. And you'll share many details over the course of the next few messages. Please confirm that you understand. You're communicating it to it. You're making sure it understands what you're doing and who you are, and go through there. Start with your mission. Start with who your mission is, your organization, what you matter, your purpose, your organization's vision, where you guys want to go, what matters over the next 5 and 10, 15 years. Personally, what you say on a regular basis, how often you say things. I was in a session earlier with a friend of mine. He said double click 3 times, right? Put that into your own vocabulary. Know who you are. Words you never say. If you know me, I'm from Pittsburgh. I don't say Baltimore. I don't like the Ravens. So I won't even put that in my own vocabulary, right? Do what you need to do to be able to put in there, as well as go to your value props. Like my value prop's all about human connection and finding the things that matter to us and as a community. Figure out the organization's value proposition, your value proposition. And then lastly, your donor personas. Lean in, identify with a couple of them. Start with 2 or 3 donor personas that you want to communicate directly to it. And these large language models, the more you work with it, the better results you will be. I'm going to pause there because I'm talking so fast. The more you train it, the better your results will be. Donna, much love. Let's go Pittsburgh. That's what's great about this. It's like no one ever, one of my favorite best practices to do in my ChatGPT is when I go through and I talk to it, when it's done doing and completing the project of whatever I'm asking, I screenshot what I did and upload it back to GPT and say, hey, this is for your reference. This is going to close the loop. This is what I did or presented or sent, whatever it might be, because it's always going to be learning from you. It's always going to be communicating. It's always going to be able to go through all these different areas to be able to communicate. And see how long I'm going with this? This isn't so long, but I'm keeping everything engaged with everything where we're going. And really, I have a whole session of a presentation and a PDF, and I'm going to ask my friend Frank to post in here. We have a get the guide on how to train your ChatGPT. There's dozens and dozens of prompts and appeals to be able to put in here to be able to make sure that you can write better fundraising copy out of a ChatGPT. And so the great thing, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep closing it up. I got 12 more slides before we keep going to the next section. Is wait, there's more. Is the fact that I got to talk a little bit about who Avid is. And really, do you feel that your systems are all in chaos? Right? There's all these different data sets and everything else. We've got one over here. We've got marketing. As a former frontline fundraiser, I apologize. I had Excel and I never used the database, but now I'm understanding on where we want to go. But really, as an executive and as an organization, we need to see clarity on where we're going as an organization. We're stuck in this short-term thinking of what's happening on our budgets year over year. We're not able to look ahead to these long-term lifeline of our organization of where we want to be, that vision and messaging and of everything else. And how many of us feel under-resourced? We're being told to do more with less. And right now, our focus actually needs to be the clarity and efficient and focus directly on the mission at hand. And really, that's where Avid can come in. Avid, like I mentioned to start off, we're the first ever fundraising operating system where we're going to be able to unify all your systems. All your systems are going to be able to get connected, right? You're going to be able to automate your strategy. We're going to be able to execute with precision. This is not just a software. It's not just a service. It's actually something to be able to help you grow. And when you think about it, all your systems out here, they're not connected. They're not talking to one another. And finally, we have the opportunity to be able to say, hey, there's a system out there that can actually connect all your tools and get an idea of where you're going. And like I said, all of the CRMs, the marketing CRMs, the email CRMs, they are all connected directly into Avid. And so with that, I want you to think through, what is our next move? That fundraising intelligence that we actually have built inside our system is actually built all of the off those experiments that I mentioned with Next After and a couple other different organizations. We're pulling those large language models from the best practices of fundraising, and we're creating that content through generative AI to be able to help you. And so I'd love to be able to support you, talk to my team, be able to help there. You just want to talk through AI or any conversation, I'm here as well. I think I hit my time, Candace. I try to go fast because I know you're a little bit behind, but I'm at 25 minutes. Is there any questions in the chat?
Erik, you were amazing. That was so
That was
fast.
rapid.
That was uncanny. I mean, incredible. I'm going to say we have time for one more question, because there's a great question from Courtney. What would be your recommendation if you are currently doing those longer, sort of like pretty newsletters? Should we instead keep it shorter, plain text? Our community foundation just started doing these newsletters to have better outreach. So what would you recommend there, Erik?
I'm a big fan. You saw it there, testing and controlling, right? When I was we were at Next using Next After's data, all of that information is working with the organization, seeing what is best for them. And as you can see, like where we are going down and what we think is correct, maybe the data isn't letting us do it. And I would say do both. Find out exactly who your people are, who your mission is, and what focus is. But really, you can tell from the data that we have that plain text would be better. Short plain text to be able to be more specific, because honestly, everyone's a goldfish, right? The Ted Lasso mindset, right? I'm not going to spend an hour reading a newsletter. I'm going to download it and upload it into a chat GPT and say, hey, define what's this organization want. It's got to be quick, right?
Yep. Great. Well, you are headed to your lounge session after this. So if people want to meet with you or get a walkthrough or a demo of Avid, they can join you in that lounge. I will share a little bit more on how to do that in just a second. But want to say thank you, Erik. I think this session and the session before are just great examples of how we should be thinking about connecting the systems and the tools that we're using. So really encourage you to take what Erik shared, all of the resources that have been shared in the chat, and think about how you're doing that with the different tools that you're using. If you have feedback for Erik, you can share that here. Your feedback is super important. We share it with the speakers. We also look at it to better understand how we should program the summit in the future. So really, really appreciate all of your feedback. I also just want to say again that you can book your intro call with Avid and get 10% off your first year. That is right there up on the screen. So please encourage you to do that, or join Erik in his lounge right after this. As I mentioned, he will be in a lounge for the next little bit. You can get a demo of Avid's tools, and from the reception area backstage, you can see lounge in the top navigation, select that, find the table that says live demo Avid in action, and you can join Erik, have a conversation with him, ask him some questions. We are at the end of the day. So there is just one more session. It should be happening on the main stage in just a second, but I want to call out, I encourage you to gather yourself and get organized for tomorrow so that you can make the most out of the summit. Decide where you want to be, save and bookmark your sessions, create your schedule, and join us tomorrow. The next resource I want to share with you before I let you go is our Summit Plus. One of the biggest things we hear after the Fundraising AI Summit is completed is, what do I do on Wednesday? What do I do the day after the summit? I just got all this great learning and resources, and I want to know what to do next. So we have the Summit Plus opportunity for you. It is a 3-week AI immersion leadership or capability immersion track with unlimited AI Spark sessions for a whole year. If you are interested in utilizing this resource, it is typically a $5,000 value, but Summit attendees get it for $665 until September 16th. Seats are limited. You can use the code FAI Summit to access that. Lastly, all of the recordings from the day today are going to be available to you. So all of them are available. You just have to use your AirMeet credentials. You can also access the Fundraising AI website in about 4 weeks for full access. But please feel free to go back, rewatch, take notes if you weren't able to do so. Or if there's a session happening on a stage that you didn't get to see, you can go back and watch it. Big love to all of the FAI Summit sponsors. These are the people that helped make this event free and available to all of you, and all of the resources that you will get after the summit. These are all made possible by the incredible companies that you likely heard from throughout the day today and tomorrow. Be sure to visit their sponsor booths throughout the day tomorrow. You can find those in the top navigation area to explore their tools and their tech. And just a couple more highlights. I want to give a big shout out to our friends at Dotaro. They are working to ensure your team can focus on what really matters, which is your donors. Dotaro's AI-powered platform automates tasks like donor research and campaign targeting. It integrates seamlessly with leading CRMs, and it gives you predictive AI donor insights that power an audience-first fundraising strategy and delivers personalized fundraising at scale. They are the leading AI fundraising platform since 2017, and with Dotaro, you can spend less time on manual data tasks, understand your donors better, automate donor research, and engage donors more meaningfully. You can book a demo or get started today with 5 times free donor reports per month.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just the dog, right? I've sat through more of these fundraising lunches than I can count. It's the same script every time. But they don't know my dad like I do. They don't know that he's got a huge soft spot for kids, sports, and education.
They don't even know my name. And who do you think really makes the decisions around here?
And you must be Buster.
Okay, you've done your research.
All right. So make sure you check out the resources that Dotaro has provided. They're offering an exclusive deal for Fundraising AI participants. If you sign up for a paid Prospect AI account this September, you'll get a one-time bonus of 500 extra searches on top of your 250 searches per month. So take advantage of that if you can, and you can access that resource today. And now there's one session left happening on the main stage right now. Our closing keynote, Nathan Chappell and Woodrow Rosenbaum, who is my boss. He's the Chief Data Officer at Giving Tuesday. They are doing a closing session, really thinking about the future of AI and how we're thinking about building AI into the future, not just looking back on how we've been using it. So please join them. This is available for CFRE credits. You can join them, head on over to the Amplify stage right now. Last but not least, remember, build that session, build that schedule for tomorrow. And I hope that we see you tomorrow. That is a wrap on the Impact stage for today. Thank you so much for joining us, our incredible lineup of speakers. As I mentioned, head over to that day one closing keynote. And I look forward to learning all about the sessions that happen tomorrow. Your host for tomorrow on this stage is Jen Lau. I will not be there tomorrow. Sadly, I will be in attendance and learning from all of you. She'll be your host, and I hope you enjoy the keynote. Thank you so much.